Hello everyone, and welcome back to the Source Code Sasquatch podcast. I am the Sasquatch, your favorite hacker, programmer, slash graphic designer. We're here to explore the latest tool and technique in software development and security. Today we're going to discuss one of the most powerful tool in penetration testing toolkit, the SeeKer. The SeeKer is a dynamic application security testing tool that we use to identify and exploit vulnerability in people's behavior. Right? We're going to talk in conjunction or together with the SeeKer. We're going to talk today about internet security, how it is important that we mind our behavior. And in this episode of the Source Code Sasquatch, we're going to discuss the important topic that affects everyone who uses the internet, how our habit can impact our internet security. The internet has become an integral part of our daily lives, from work to entertainment to communication. But as we use the internet more and more, it's important to remember that our habit can have a significant impact on our online security. One of the most important habits that we can develop is to use strong and unique password for all of our online account. This means obviously avoiding the easy guess such as 123456 or a password or your pet name or your kid's birthday and whatnot, right? Instead, we should use a combination of letters and numbers and symbols and avoid using the same password for multiple accounts, because if one account is cracked, then all of our accounts are going to be cracked. So another important habit is to be cautious when we click on links. Essentially, hackers have to rely mostly on social engineering to be able to hack you. For a hacker to brute force your password will take quite some time versus sending you in a promiscuous path that will be conducive for the hacker to gather the information from you. If you click on the link, regardless of the link that you don't know who it's coming from, or if you can trust the website or the person that sent it to you, essentially what can happen is the second the link is being clicked, a script is being executed, and that script can give permission to anyone to access any aspect of our device. So that being said, it is also important to keep our softwares and device up to date with the latest security patches and update. These updates are often contain important security fix that can help protect against known vulnerability and threats, because this is what it is. To be able to gain access to your system, one needs to know of a open door, because as I said, to knock at the door of a computer with a username and try to crack the password can take ages, years, months, decades, 100 years. Some password could even take up to a million years to crack. But if for some reason the developer of the device, the software or whatnot, has written a line of code that creates a vulnerability in the system, and that the vulnerability is discovered, well, the company is going to do everything in their power to fix that issue. But at the same time, the hackers are going to be looking for that open door, and if you don't keep your system up to date, then you're leaving yourself vulnerable to these attacks. So today I wanted to show a small little hack that can give access to a lot of your system information as well as your location, and relatively pretty precise and accurate for how simple this little hack is. And to do so, So let's fire up our Kali Linux, our favorite distribution for penetration testing and ethical hacking. And before we go any further, um, let's talk about the purpose of this video, right? The content provided in this podcast is for educational purposes only and is intended to be used solely for learning and training purposes related to penetration testing and cybersecurity. The technique and tool discussed in this podcast may be illegal and unethical if used without the proper authorization or in violation of applicable laws and regulation. So make sure that whenever you're practicing or testing these exploits, that you do so on your own system, within your own network, and with the permission of all users that are being part of this network. If not, you could be infringing the law and you could be facing some legal repercussion. So please be mindful of that. We, the creator of this podcast, do not assume any liability or damages or loss that may arise for any misuse or misapplication of the technique and tool discussed in this podcast. The listeners are solely responsible for ensuring that they comply with the applicable law, regulation, and ethical standard when using the technique and tool discussed in this podcast. So that being said, let's go back to our Kali distribution. Let me bring up our system right here. There you go. And now to fire up this exploit, we'll need to open 3 terminals. The first one is where we're going to be running our exploit. The second one will be our tunneling server, and the third one will be the matrix. And just because it's cool, now that we have our 3 terminals open, in our far right terminal, we're gonna fire up our SeeKer, and to do so, we'll type in the command python3 seeker.py, and then we'll fire it up. Now, the exploit is going to ask us what kind of social engineering technique do we want to use to gain access to the victim's information. So right here, we'll do a Zoom, because everybody can relate to Zoom, right? We've been sent some link, people asking us to join a Zoom, and sometimes it doesn't work, and we have to re-email the person. We don't get the right link or something. So maybe at this precise moment we were being harvested, right? Our information was being harvested, and the technique that is being used is the Zoom template. So we'll fire up the Zoom template by selecting the option 5, and now we see that our exploit has fired up. Right? It says that we have loaded our Zoom template, that we are pushing on the port 8080, and that the PHP server has started. So now we're going to need to fire up our ngrok server. So to do so, we type in ngrok http listening on server 8080. So that's what we're going to type right here. And now we see that our server is being fired up. We see in the top right here, we have session status connecting. There you go. So now that our exploit is ready, we have our link available. Before we go further, I want to fire up CMatrix. Okay, so now that we have our browser here on our victim's machine, this here is on a different virtual machine. We're going to paste this email. We're going to paste this link that we see right here, our forwarding link. And you'll see when we follow the link, we'll see the server. Now, obviously, there are ways to remove those warnings, but for example purposes, I don't think we need to. So now that we are on our Zoom link, obviously we'll want to join the meeting. So we're going to click on launch meeting, and it's going to ask us right here to access our location. Most of the time we'll think is to access either our cam or our mic or even our location. We wouldn't think twice about it because Zoom does ask us about our location. So when we click allow, if we see right here on the right hand side, we see that the hack was executed, and now we've gained all this information from our virtual machine, right? It's a Windows OS on a Windows platform. It's running on a NVIDIA GPU. The resolution, the browser, the public IP, who's the IP service supplier, and then after we see right here we have the address that is being displayed, as we see right here in our exploit. It's letting us know that we are 15-meter accuracy. This is how precise the system is. The address that it's showing up is not the right address, but it is within a 15-meter actual address. So this is very scary. And the craziest part is you would think that so you would think like a service, let's say like Facebook, would prevent this from happening, right? Like it would block this malicious link, but in reality, it does not. As you can see right here, I'll just forward this to a victim that already knows that I'm going to be sending the link. And then we'll wait for the victim to go onto their device and click on the link. And once they do, we will see again on the terminal on the right hand side the exploit being executed. Right there, the person opened up the link. We see that it's an iPhone, and again with all the information being collected about this person, so about this victim. So I just wanted to show you guys how, again, easy it is to get hacked and give away some information that should really not be available to anyone. So that being said, I hope that you guys enjoyed this video. Like, comment, subscribe, and let me know what kind of video you guys want to see. If you have any question, I'll be more than happy to get in touch with you guys. Until then, stay safe, be mindful, and with knowledge, we can become more secure online. Until then, guys, take care.